Yes, hello everyone and welcome back to another season in the Apex Online Racing Project Cast 2 PC GT3 League. This is Tier 1, the best GT3 drivers and Project Cast in AOR at it for another season. My name is Fizzy and I will be one of your commentators throughout this season, and joining me for this first round is, as usual, Mr. King-Kodiak.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. Yes, we are back for another season of these beautiful GT3 cars, and the cry and the call from Fizzy has been answered as we have quite a strong showing of this beautiful machine we were staring at from Project Tragic Bronson, the Lambo.
Indeed, and for this first round of the season, it is 10 rounds as usual. We are at Algarve in Portugal for race that I'm very excited about commentating on, because I've never raced at this track and I've never commentated on this track. I remember last time you was in the league, I was away somewhere and you had to do the commentary yourself.
Oh yes, so that was not only when I had a really bad throat, but also my microphone decided to drop my voice by about half a tone, so it really did sound like I was going through a voice changer, which was really, really bizarre.
Yes.
We have got
enough about that.
Yeah. Moving on. I have commented on this, of course, in it wasn't last season. I think it was the season before. But also, I've done an endurance race here. Well, I commentated on an endurance race here for AOR. So I love this particular track personally. I'm a big fan of it. It's got a lot of challenges. There's only one major straight, which is from the final turn, which we're looking at Marley now. He's coming through that final turn. That is the only real straight to talk about. The very short straight from turns 4 to 5. If I bring up the map, you'll see turns 1, 2 and 3 at the bottom left of the map there. And then you've got 4, which is the next left-hander, and that short straight there, that's the only other straight where anybody can get any decent pace. But particularly turn 14 is so easy to fly off the road. You kick it too hard, and it's really heavily cambered as well. So it creates a lot of challenges. But we have got a lot of drivers we need to talk about.
Yeah, we certainly do. There should be 28 drivers on the grid today, I believe. It looks like it's
we've lost one at some point.
At the moment. Yeah, well, one unfortunate one has dropped out. Hopefully we'll get back in by the end of this 10-minute qualifying session. But yeah, let's do then a little run through of all the drivers we have with us for the season. Let's start with a champion. It is Jadir, of course, the reigning 2-time champion of season 9 and 10. He has changed his car for this season.
Lambo!
The Lemon Lambo is back. I'm so excited. It's amazing, and the champion is wearing those colors as well. So yeah, he is of course a man to look out for. Can he get the 3rd consecutive championship? Only one man previously in the AOR GT3 Tier 1 League on PC has won 3 consecutive championships. Only one other has won more than one championship, and that is F1 Masa, of course, back in season 2, 3 and 4. Can Jadir copy that feat this season? He's had 10 wins from the 20 races he has done. Let's move on to his main challenger from season 10. That is Di Heidi, the Italian, who is in the BMW Z4 again for this season. He was very solid. He wasn't far off Jadir last season. He gave him a good run for his money and had 4 wins from 10 races, so won nearly half of the races in season 10. So he's be interested to see how he will stack up against Jadir in the Lamborghini. Moving on to Scott, the British driver who was very consistent last season. Finished 5th in the championship, kept finishing 4th and 5th in the races as well, but he never got onto the podium. Is this a season where he will manage that? He was also the Tier 2 champion back in season 9. Then moving on to Zenvo, who previously was known as Zenny, for those who watched last season. He finished 6th in season 10, and like Scott, he finished 4th a few times, but never got onto the podium, so you will be looking for that. Then we have Leon the Sick One, the Swede, who is seemingly also in the Lamborghini for the season. He hadn't had an update. He chose his car very late, but he finished 7th in season 10. Another very strong driver. Can be a bit inconsistent from my experience from watching him, but he had 5 podiums from the 2 seasons he has been in the league, so another one to look out for. Moving on to Villalobos, he is Di Heidi's teammate, also in the BMW Z4, also Italian. He finished 13th in season 10, but I think he's got more in him because he only did 6 races last season and still got a solid championship position. Then we have another Italian, that is Alexis, the 3rd Italian on the grid. He finished 14th in season 10. He's been with us for a few seasons now. He had a couple of podiums previously, but didn't quite have the season he was looking for last time out. So let's see if he can improve on 14th. Then another, I guess we can call him a veteran by now, entering his third season, King-Kodiak. He finished 15th last season and is in the Mercedes AMG this time around. And moving on to Mr. Van Ommen, Jadier's teammate, of course, for the last couple of seasons. He was very strong in season 9 with 3 podiums, but he only finished 18th in season 10, quite disappointing. So let's see if he can bounce back with a better season 11. Then Zal, the final returning driver from the grid last season, actually only 10 on the grid that raced with us in season 10. That is Zal, the Norwegian.
We don't have Zal with us, I don't think.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay, so he's not here for the first race, but he is in the league, so you might see him pop out in future races. Then, moving on to Age of the A's, that's an interesting one, because he was on the Xbox Tier 1 league last season, finished 13th place there, but he is a former champion on the Xbox side, with a championship in season 6 and 7, and he's also been commentating on the Xbox side in recent seasons, so one to look out for, I think. I think he's got some pace in him. Then let's move on to the drivers who were in the lower tiers last season and has moved up, starting off with Dalking 38 in the Lamborghini. He's the reigning champion on Xbox Tier 2. So moving over to the PC, let's see what he can do. Then Dakuza in the BMW M6, actually, Finnish driver. He finished 4th in PCT2 last season. Another PCT2 driver was Lusty. He finished 6th there, moving up also to Tier 1. And then finally Shooter is a new coordinator for Tier 1. He was 10th in Tier 2 last season, but he must have found some pace in the off-season, moving up to Tier 1. Let's try and be a bit quicker with the remaining drivers, because there's only a couple of minutes left in the qualifying session. We've got John Beauregard. He finished technically 19th in Tier 2 last season, but he only did one race, where he finished 2nd. So I mean, I think that's not quite representative of what he can do. JK14, he's the champion of Tier 4 of all places.
Wow.
So he has taken a big step up to Tier 1 for this season. Let's see what he can do. He is currently 12th in the qualifying session. Then a few interesting returning drivers. We've got Rillo back with us, the Lamborghini, the Swede, who has raced in the GT3 since season 5, but he is sat out in season 10. So he is good to see him back on the grid. Then Tapek in the Audi, he was with us in season 9. He finished 14th place there. Also showed some pace in occasional races. Murphy, that's an interesting one. The only Gidnessa on the grid once again, like in season 9. He is back with us. He's also the Tier 1 champion from Xbox in season 8. Then Suomi, another fast driver, has been with us before. Has actually won a race back in season 6. So he's another one to look out for, I think. Then a few new drivers, let's go through them quickly. T-Mac, he is actually the reigning champion of the Ginetta GT5 league that we had between the 2 GT3 seasons. And then just 4 new drivers that haven't been with us in the GT3s before. Benny Zigley, Gamisuke, Rudders, and a Tragic Bronson. No idea how they're going to do. Let's wait and see. Then a few reserve drivers as well who might pop up now and then. I don't know if Speedman is with us today. He is indeed.
Oh, he's in the Acura.
He's in the Acura. Wow, that's something we haven't seen.
That's the first time that car's been represented in Tier 1 in Picard's team.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And then we got the reigning Tier 2 champion with a Mali 57, and he beat the next guy, Clown, to the championship by 1 point, and they're not teammates in Tier 1, so that's very interesting.
They actually have, before they cross the line now, exactly the same lap time by to the thousand.
Can they be any closer? And they're next to each other on track as well. This is incredible.
Oh, Cleland's just broken that one. Never mind, sorry.
Yeah, we have Bo as well, but don't think he's with us, because I think he said he could only do the second half of the season. Oh, he is? Okay, never mind. Bo is with us. All the reserve drivers on the grid today, and those are the drivers. That took a while, but they are all the drivers.
We got there.
For this season.
I couldn't go through them. I was trying frantically to click on all of our names as you were reading them out, and the checker flag is out. So good timing. Jardier, our champion in the Lemon Lambo, is our pole man. He's coming around. He's bringing that in, isn't he? Yep. I thought he was going a little bit too slow. Down King. Nice start. Wow. An unusual livery there. 2 tenths behind. 140.8. Great effort, Suomi, in the same unusual coloured Lambo. Benazili has just jumped up to 4th in his Audi. Very few Audis, considering we were Audi dominant last season. It's a complete turnaround for the particular season. Jumps up to 4th, 149.98. Then is De Heidi in the lead Z4. That's it looks angry. Villalobos in the next Z4, then 141.201. Then it is Zenny in the first Mercedes, I think only Mercedes in the grid. Then it is Leon in the next Lamborghini, 141.319. Then it is Gamisuki in the next Lamborghini. And rounding out the top 10, it was a Clio. And right at the end, we do have a few people coming to complete their laps. That is one of them, Marley. He's coming around. Now that's what it looks like, and that's where you've got this crest right on top of the apex, and then the car just wants to wander. You want to push the car harder, but it's so easy to fly off the road and just completely invalidate your lap. And obviously we know who that is in the Ginetta behind. Murphy setting his 201, so he's really struggled to get to grips with this particular track. The only man on track is John Beauregard in the golf-coloured Mercedes. Let's see what he does. 144.442. Does he improve? He did improve indeed to 142, but I didn't quite see what position that put him in. But that is your qualifying positions.
Usual sight at the front then. Jadier with the pole position. Dalking very impressive from Xbox Tier 2 to 2nd place on the grid in his first PCT1 race.
Nice.
Then Suomi returning with style, starting in 3rd. The Heidi, last season's runner-up, in 5th place. Be interested to see how he gets on. You can see the rest of the positions here. I think the timer will go out before we get to read through them all.
Anyway, near.
Yeah. So Murphy, interesting, in 28th. Don't think his 2:01 was a representative lap time, 20 seconds off the pace. So he's got some comeback driving to do in the race for sure.
Just a tad. So top 3, Lambo. Then it is Audi. Then Z4, Mercedes, Lambo, and Lambo. That's 60%.
I'm loving this. So many Lambos. I'm so excited.
60% of the top 10 in Fizzy's favourite colours. Then Marley and T-Mac, our Ginetta champion, also using the Lamborghini, starts 12th. Scott has moved over from the Mercedes from last season into the Z4 for this one. Then Alexis, trying to remember, what did he drive last time? Audi, I think. So he joins us in the Z4 as well. And JK, new addition to this league in the Audi with Aid the Ace in the next Lamborghini Alliance. Speed Demon in the Acura. The first time that's been represented in Tier 1 for PGAS 2. Then there's D'Couza in the M6. Then it is Rodders, a name we didn't really get a chance to mention. New entrant into... new entrant to AOR? I don't recognise the name. So I'm assuming it's not just a Tier 1, but it's actually to AOR as a whole. I don't recognise Rodders. Apologies if he has raced with us before. He's in the Merc in 19th. Then it is Lusty in the next M6 in 20th. Shooter in 21st in the M6. Then 2 Desert Pack in the Merc 22nd. Van Orman. He's not had a good run in the Lambo so far, but we'll see what he can do. Then it's Tragic Bronson in the next Lamborghini with John Beauregard in the golf-coloured Merc in 25th. Rido 7105. He is also in the Lamborghini in 26th. Bo in 27th in the M6. And Murphy in the Sol Ginetta. I will always have a little bit of a soft spot for Rido because I did commentate on his championship run in season, I think it was 6.
Tier 2 champion season 6.
Yes, I was commentating that one. That was in my formative time as a commentator here at AOR. That was my second full season in GT3. So I'll always have a little bit of a... We try and remain as impartial as we possibly can, except when it comes to Lamborghinis.
Try to remain impartial, but if it really doesn't win, we quit.
But I mean, we're all we're all human. We all have our... I defy any commentators to say they don't have somebody that they secretly cheer on. I know full well I do. I try and keep it under wraps, of course, for impartiality reasons, etc., etc. Never mind, that's enough of that. Let's have a look. See where they're coming down. Coming down to turn 5. This turn is very difficult because just as they come over the crest is where they want to brake. Very slow left-hander. Second gear, then it's back uphill for the full speed turn 6. That's the left hand you can see.
Damn it, we got differing track maps again.
Oh, what turn have you got?
7.
Ready? Oh, okay.
Don't know. Yeah, well.
Now the right hander, so, on my map turn 7. And then...
Oh, maybe I got a chicane at turn 2 there, which isn't on this layout.
Oh, no. Oh, there is a version of the track that is that has a chicane there. That's not the version we are running. When you bring up the map, you'll see. You can see it actually on the physical map, but that's not the version we run.
I see. That makes sense, yeah. Yeah, that would make sense. So I'll detract one number from each of my corner names.
Well, except for turn 1. That was correct.
Of course, yeah.
So now coming back downhill, and that turn there is known as Portimao, turn 10. That is actually very tricky as well because you're braking and turning at the same time. Now into turn 12, which again is you see the camber in the track, but then the actual apex is slightly off camber. So it's very, very challenging indeed. Then for Sagres, turn 13, which is this one here. Now coming around, and then they start to come back downhill again. Actually, there you'll see where the undulation changes. They've now formed the 2x2 line, and here is the dreaded turn 14. The apex is completely blind, and then suddenly you drop down, and it then becomes on camber. But if you've already overcooked it, you are flying off the road, and there ain't nothing you're going to do about it. You are flying off the road. But here we go then, forming the 2x2 line to start the season 11.
Yes, we do. A lot of people in the stream. Welcome everyone. Let's hope we can enjoy a good race together here. 28 GT3 cars on the grid for the first round of season 11 in the AOR PC GT3 Elite, well, that was the previous name, Tier 1 Championship. And we are underway here. Jadir has put his foot down as the cars are streaming towards the first corner. Suomi under pressure from Deheide into the first corner. Deheide's got a storming start. He started in P5, but he's not quite managed to grab a third from Suomi. He's up though past Leon. The sick one is up in 5th as well. He's gained some places, I believe. Bill Lobos in 6th, and there's been a collision ahead of Zenvo. That is Bill Lobos, and
who's Leon?
The cars. There's several drivers. They're sitting on the apex. There's hard for the cars coming behind to avoid that. Quite unfortunate. And he hasn't seen the car going past him as well. So Leon involved with, and it's again there's another car spinning on the next corner. That's interesting. Tragic Bronson's had a tragic first lap of this race.
You had to, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, pretty bad start for a number of people then, and that's the problem when the pack is so tightly condensed. One mistake and you are surrounded by a lot of people. Great start though by Deheide. He's straight on the back of Suomi. That is the view from the Z4 then. He's got, he's having a look on the inside. It's a double apex right-hander. On my map it just classed to turn 10. Then back downhill again. He had to think about it, but wouldn't have had the drive that the Lamborghini would have done coming down the hill then, so he's going to have to bide his time. But look how close Dalking is on the back of Jardier. I mean, we know how difficult Jardier is to chase, and what an excellent start to his particular season. Van Almen has got his name on the penalty board then, right the way down there in 19th place. Look at the field there. What's the penalty he's got himself? Ouch, that's the 30-second penalty. So the game didn't think he'd relinquished a position back. That'll almost certainly be contested. I mean, look at the amount of weaving and diving that everyone's had to do already early on. He's probably had to do an off-track overtake to avoid further incidents, so that will almost certainly be appealed. Bear that one in mind later on. Jardier then leads away. Dalking nailed to his rear wing. JK is in the pit. Yeah, a number of people in the pits. What a surprise. JK, Lusty, Omen and Leon all come in for repairs to their cars then, but Jardier doesn't look like he's going to have it all his own way. Dalking trying to stay in the slipstream then. There's that crest. You can see at the point that Jardier brakes, he's just gone past the crest. If you brake a little bit too early, the car just gets really unsettled, ABS or not, and you can really spell disaster coming into turn 5. So a little bit further out, Deheide's now up to 3rd position. He's managed to displace Suomi by 1 point. Oh, goodness me, Deheide. We saw you do that a lot last season. He tends to drive that very little. We have lost a driver already. It is, I don't know, unfortunately. I'm not very good at identifying who it is we've lost.
Might be one of the guys that went in the pit lane.
I did imagine. Wonder that, but I think they're all still with us. Omen, Lusty, Leon, JK, I think they're all still in. So we have lost a driver from this race, sadly. But never mind, we crack on. Hopefully they'll make themselves available for us in chat perhaps. Oh, look at the queue behind Suomi. That is Zenny in the Mercedes right underneath his rear wing with Benzilli as well, keeping track in the Audi, one of the few Audis we have in this season. There's Cleowen in the Rainbow Lamborghini not far behind. Lots and lots of battling going on.
Absolutely, yeah. Frantic first couple of laps as usual, and yeah, very unfortunate with that incident at the start. Of course, I think it started with Leon and Villalobos coming together, and quite a few drivers caught as collateral damage to that one. And look at this though, battle Suomi under pressure. I wonder if he made a mistake on the previous lap, because he lost a lot of time to Heidi when he went past, and now he's very much under pressure from Zenvo, who is one of those guys who got a lot of 4th places and 5th place last season. Didn't get a podium, but he is chasing one at the moment. Yeah, but he needs to get past Suomi to do so. Suomi's start of the race hasn't quite matched up to the great qualifying that he had, but he just had to settle down, regain his focus, and yeah, just not crack under this pressure. 3 cars, very, very close behind him, as Dalking in 2nd place has picked up a penalty.
Oh no! 2 seconds
already in this race. 2 seconds, so he's been a bit naughty already with the track limits, you would imagine.
4 more people have come into the pits. Rodders, 2 Desert Pack, Villalobos and Tragic Bronson all bringing their cars in at the end of lap 3. So a lot of people, well, we saw a lot of carnage going on. I would imagine there's going to be quite a few stewards inquiries on the back of that. Wow, that's Dalking. You can say, well, the fact that he's got himself a track limits penalty shows you how hard he's pushing. He's wanted to hang on to the back of Jardier. He just needs to calm it down a bit. So, you've got a number of laps to go, and you've also got this man to Heidi bearing it on you. I wonder how strong the Z4 is going to be at this particular circuit. I mean, we saw, I will never forget the opening round of last season at Sonoma, and he pulled off a brilliant early stop and just stormed through the field like no one was there and just took the dominant win. It was absolutely brilliant to see. Look at that 4-car pack behind him though. That's not that, although that's another battle. That's the camera just getting a little bit lost. So that was Speed Demon Scott and Alexis you just saw there. But that's looking from Cleowen at that 3-car pack ahead of him of Benzili, Zeni and Suomi. Suomi looks like he's really struggling. If I got the right car, there we go. He looks like he started well, but doesn't seem to have been able to hang on to the pace too well.
Certainly. I'm just having a look to see, because I assume we're having the same rules this season in terms of the pit stops with the mandatory pit stop. So that means that the drivers can pit any time after the first lap.
What's happened to Dalking? He's lost
the last 5 laps. What's happened?
Dalking's lost second, so he's actually made a mistake somewhere. So apologies for cutting you off there, Fizz. I just suddenly realised this battle's gotten even bigger as Murphy has brought his car into the pits as well in the Ginetta. Now they are on accelerated tyre wear, so they won't be able to just kind of. It's exceedingly unlikely we're going to see people run their cars to like the last 2 laps or last 5 laps before they bring it in. Of course, I believe we do still have the lap. You can't pit within the final 5 laps of the race rule in place. So we will see then if any, because we did have people fall for that. Once it was at Alexis, but I'm not 100% sure it was. We did definitely have someone fall for that in I can see the track, but I forgot the name of it. Nope, that's gone. Algarve, that's where we are.
Yes.
Oh, that's going to bug me. So
either way,
yeah.
Big story at the moment. Dalking's made some kind of mistake, and unfortunately that sort of put the pressure off Jardier in terms of getting a battle for the lead of the race. We know how good Jardier is, of course. When he's running out in front, he rarely gives away a lead of the race when he has it. Even if he's under pressure, he rarely gives it away, to be fair. But, I mean, Dalking still a very impressive debut in this league after being Xbox Tier 2 last season. So showing his pace there.
Absolutely. A few more people coming in. Ad Alexis has brought the Z4 in, along with Gamasuki and Relo bringing their cars in. They're probably more scheduled. Lots of people pitting early, trying to kind of repeat the success that Heidi managed last time around by doing so. There's another battle. There's AD-Ace on the back of this 3-way battle with T-Mac and Dakuza right ahead of them. So that is M6 and then a pair of Lambos in there. Scott has a battle with Speed Demon. There they are. And there is. That's the Acura. So the Acura's not doing bad in 9th position.
Yeah. Kind of have to cheer for the Acura a little bit. Just sort of an underdog car. You haven't seen it before.
Yeah. He's not doing a bad effort. So 142.7 last time around. That is pretty respectable. as we've lost another from the race, unfortunately, and I haven't hoped that'll figure out
who. The first one, I believe, was Bo, because he was in the chat.
That's a shame. So
and apparently, there's an update from Stefan, one of the podcast moderators. In AOR, the drivers can commit now in the last 5 laps, as long as he's not on the final lap.
Oh, so the rule. I confess, I wasn't actually going to commentate on this season, I must be honest. It was actually something I discussed with Vizzy beforehand. I was actually going to have a break from this season, as I've been exceedingly busy for quite a number of weeks. I was thinking I just need a bit of a break. But I'll be quite honest, I just got the urge. I just got the urge to commentate again. So here I am.
You might have some blips now and then, but the commentary urge is always going to be there.
Pretty much, yeah. So Dalking then trying his best to hang on to the back of Dahidi. He was about 600ths quicker than the Z4 last time around. Jardier is off to the tune of about 3 seconds ahead of this particular pack. Suomi has managed to shake off some of the cars behind. He's now actually closing in on his teammate Dalking. There you just saw on the bottom of the shot, that's Zeni being very, very closely followed by fellow newcomer Benizili in the Audi. So that's a battle for 5th position. Cleoran's fallen off the back of that particular battle. There he is in the Lemon Lambo. That's
love that camera.
That's a good one. It's a shame that the one around the final turn is a little bit lost, but there is the view from the Audi then as he chases that Mercedes around that really clumsy, awkward turn 12. And then over to the left, quick squirt of the gas before you come around the 180-degree turn 13. Still lots of cars in very, very short succession. We do have some that are actually a lap down due to early pit stops and what have you.
The good thing is, though, for those guys that did have to pit early for damage, is that at least they will have done their pit stop, so they don't have to pit again.
If they can make their tyres last.
Obviously, as long as they aren't too harsh on the tyres and can make them last. Was there side by side in the background? Yes, there was. Scott moving past Speed Demon, moving past the Acura, up into 9th position.
It was actually... Oh no, beg your pardon, yes it was right. I was actually reading the overlay wrong. That's how that's how rough I am at the moment. So yeah, it was Scott indeed gaining that 9th position from the Acura, but as you can see he's really staying on the case of Z4 as there is Beauregard in the... I keep wanting to say Aston coloured because I've only ever seen those Golf colours on Aston Martins, so or Ford GT40s, which we don't have in this game, much to my chagrin. I like that car. Wow, that was quick. So schedule something exactly the same as we had before. It would seem you don't have to change tyres, so I wonder if the accelerated tyre wear is then not necessarily forcing a pit stop, but forcing people to consider it, or maybe to just make them have to think about tyre preservation a bit more. Is possibly what we will end up with. We will have to see as the race progresses. Suomi is closing in ever so slightly on the back of his teammate. He was a 10th quicker last time around. Dahidi was a couple of tenths quicker than Dalking. And Jardier is really close to getting into the 41s already. So the Lemon Lambo flies again. I cannot remember who it was that was in the original Lemon Lambo from season 8, 9?
Was it Nick Meadow?
Yes, oh, what a memory. Very good. And there is a 41 then from Jardier, 41.9. And that was actually not his best lap, so he's already been in the 41s and I've completely missed it. So Dahidi 2, 42.3 last time around with Dalking 42.2, so gained a little bit on Dahidi that lap. Wow, that was a big snap of oversteer. That's a very weird line that Dalking was taking. Looks like
a different line from Dahidi.
I'm not entirely convinced that he meant to do that. It looked like he had a snap of oversteer out of 2, or he got his line wrong out of 1 and was unsettled through 2, either way. Oh wow, he really...
Again? Yeah, just going very... I don't know if he's just outbraking himself.
I reckon he did.
Tight line.
Yeah, but look, I reckon he did, because look at Suomi now, much closer to him. And look at the gap that he's now just given himself to Dalking, who... oh yeah, he's still carrying that penalty from earlier. A few more people on the penalty board. D'Couza's going to have a 1 second penalty further down the list. Van Ommen, we know, has got one. Tragic Bronson, was it Tragic Bronson that had the 30 seconds? Or was it... oh no, that was Van Ommen. So 13 seconds. Oh dear, that's speeding in the pit lane. And oh wow, Dalking, that's determined. His car is very, very loose as he wands wide. Yeah, I thought he'd have to slow down. he would have absolutely had the track limit warning there. He may choose to ignore it, but he certainly let his teammate through. No fighting going on there. He's pushing too hard. He needs to just calm it down, get back into the rhythm. Very easy for me to say, as I proved in the Ginetta League. I can't do it very well. So, yeah, it's very easy for us to say, do this, do that, do the other. But when you've got someone bearing down on you, even if it is your own teammate, it's very easy just for the red mist to descend and to push that a little bit too hard.
Yeah, certainly. And with these guys being teammates, it'll be interesting to see if there's going to be any team orders between them. You think that most drivers focus mainly on the driver championship, but I mean, there's a reason that drivers have chosen to team up, if not only to practice together and share setups and those sort of things. But there is, of course, a team championship as well, which I'm sure we'll touch up at various stages throughout the season. ADDA's now in the pits, the two-time Xbox champion back in Project Cars 1, pitting from around 14th place.
Oh, he's run over his pit.
Oh, has he missed his box?
Yeah,
yes,
he missed his box.
Into the box there.
It's okay, Aid. No one was watching. So, quick stop for him, although made longer by the fact. I think he actually stalled because I didn't hear the engine for a little while, so he may have actually stalled coming into the pit box. Either way, Aid is served. His mandatory pit stop is now back underway. Here is T-Mac then in the black Lamborghini chasing Dakuta in the M6, I think lead M6 in this race. So now the battles are beginning to peter out. We're still... Oh, hello. That's Murphy and JK. Yeah, the Ginetta then getting a good inside line then onto turn 1 from the Audi. Then that is Beauregard and Tretic Bronson directly ahead of him. So a great four-way battle here. That is... it's Gamasuki actually joining the back of this. So, what is that? Lambo, Merc, Ginetta... What's JK in? Audi. Yeah, quite a few marks in. Oh, hello. That's. Yeah, we're seeing quite a few people actually go for that early apex, exactly as we saw Dalking, who had. Oh, yeah, he's lost that. I've just realised that Dalking's down to 4th, but of course we watched him do it. So a few people seem to go for that early apex at turn 5. Well, I guess it kind of depends on your driving style, the setup of your car, etc., etc. And Lusty has got some company then. Now that's AD8 that's come out. Right within that's battle for 19th place. So we still have battles throughout the field, but the one closest towards the front is these still... Oh, Dalking!
Oh, nearly a teammate collision there.
It's bad enough when you're flying towards someone that isn't your teammate. When it is your teammate, it's like, no! And he did manage to actually slow that down.
Time must have gone very slowly for him in those couple of seconds.
But ahead of Jardier, ahead of our Lemon Lambo leader, there we see, I think that's Relo. Yep, that's Relo in the black Lamborghini. So the field entirely bookended by Fizzy's beloved Lambos. Now Relo will have to get out of the way under blue flag conditions unless Jardier chooses to bring his car in. That is of course up to Jardier. Relo, I think, has already been in because he was caught up in the initial scuffles in the race, so he will be pretty much minding his own business there.
Who is currently the highest driver in the field has pitted? Has Van Ommen been in?
Yes, because I think he was. I think he was one of the ones. He's jumping out of the way of Villalobos there. Then Villalobos. Unfortunately, we don't have.
That is for position.
That is for position, but he was very much getting out of the way. He could have been under a track limit warning countdown there. Again, we didn't really see what led up to that.
Has Villalobos been in the pits? I assume so, because he was in
the
inside on lap 1. And he has visual damage at least. I assume he got that picked in the pit stop. But yeah, Villalobos then is a lead car that has been through the pit lane. So we have to keep an eye on these guys that have been in the pits.
Yeah,
they might suddenly find themselves in the mix in some of the good positions after those guys have all pitted.
Could well be. Jardier then is closing to the back of Relo. And once again, Jardier, the only man to get into the 141s last time around. Tail end of the field, though. I mean, you can actually see the gap visually on the map. You can see coming through turn 12. That's the 180-degree left-hand at the top right of the map, roughly. That's where Beauregard is, and the next white dot along is Relo, who is being very closely caught by the red dot, which is Jardier. So Beauregard's still in this particular battle. Murphy has lost a position. He was ahead of JK last time we saw him. There is the Audi of which he had previously overtaken. Looks like Gamisuki, oh, that's what the camera's lost, is lining up for a move on Tragic Bronson. That is for 21st. Nope, he doesn't, not really close enough to make a move there. Oh, something happened here. No, I just suddenly saw the triangle pop up there. Zenny is starting to get close to Dalking. So Dalking...
Yeah, Dalking's really struggling at the moment.
He is.
And who's that ahead of Zenny?
That's Ben. That's Benizili. So he's lost another position then.
He has. Can he get it back though? He's in a very good position going onto the straight. Has he got the straight line speed? Challenge Benizili through the first. I mean, he's got a great run and he's going to go for the inside line. Can he brake late enough without having a big wiggle like he's tended to have in the recent laps? And it's still side by side through the first and second corner. And Dalkin gets that inside line for the braking here. Another little braking wiggle from him, but he's got the line and he's got the position back. A nice battle for fourth place, but Dalking is really struggling compared to his qualifying and his early laps in this race where he was challenging Jadier. So he's now Dalking a train with a few cars behind him, and Zenvo wanting to get in on the action as well.
Yeah, Zenvo I think went for the apex a little bit too early. We had a bit of a wheel spin there as if he's using traction control, actually we can tell, no he's not, so he would have hit the curb, which just means that the traction on the rear wheels is uneven, so it would have almost certainly caused him a bit of wheel spin. So that wouldn't have helped, but yeah, Benizili is really piling the pressure on. Dalkin just overdriving his car at the moment, and it's as is displayed by the fact that that tail is just wiggling around everywhere like an excited dog. And the fact that he's down from second to fourth, was fifth, of course, he managed to out-drag Benizili coming over the start finish line. There in the background is Cleowen. So the next Rainbow Lambo is catching up to this particular pack. So that's got a lot of battling to do yet, this particular fight, I think.
Yeah, I would think so as well. Which is good to see. We like close and hopefully clean battling going on.
I know some of you like to have the speedo up, so there we go.
There you go.
Oh wow, yeah, look how early he went for the defensive lines.
Oh, there's a pit stop.
That's Cleowen.
That's Cleowen. Yeah. One of the Rainbow Lambos, as his teammate Marley comes past the pits just behind him as well. This trio going through the first few corners again, but Benizili lost a little bit of time there, I think, on the apex of turn 1. Gonna put him under pressure very much from Zenvo once again. But yeah, for anyone wondering about the race length, just to point out there is a lap counter at the top of the screen.
Yep.
Lap 14 out of 35, but it's very tiny and it's very faded out. It's a bit hard to see. So but we are on lap 14 out of 35. It's going to be around an hour in terms of the length of the race. And we have a nice three-way fight for fourth. Wonder if we're going to see a fight for second eventually as well, because Suomi's only just over a second off of Tihaidi.
You can
see Jadier in the distance as well, but he's only pulling out that gap, if only a little bit per lap.
Indeed, Suomi lost a tenth and a bit from Tihaidi last time around, so certainly the Z4 is able to stand its ground against the pink and white Lamborghini chasing him. You guys have not been in the pits yet. There's this battle we were previously looking at, 4, 5 and 6, Dalking, Benizili and Zenny. It all comes down, the drag out of this, the drive from TN13 through 14 is absolutely crucial because of how long you're on the gas for. And again, look how early Dalking goes for that defensive line.
I thought it was going to pit there, so that's how early it was.
Yeah, absolutely. And just there is no real drag effect for Benizili to use. Ooh, that's always a horrible feeling when you think you hit the brakes out slightly later than the person ahead of you. It's just that real kind of, it always was for me, it's kind of clenching moment of, I'm going to hit it, and you, a lot of the time you don't. Well, a lot of the time most people didn't. I can't, I'm not necessarily speaking for myself. And again, you can see Dalking just committing to the early line. He's defending fresh air. Benizili was nowhere near in a fifth position, and again we saw that last lap. Benizili,
this is trademark Dalking at this point, just the tight line with a wiggle in the braking. And then get around the corner.
Yeah, that was Benizili in the Audi just getting too deep and really having to stamp on the brakes. And again, he's also only using ABS, which absolutely fine. They are allowed to use the driver assist available to the car normally, which in these GT3s is all traction control and ABS. They don't have to use them. It's entirely up to them. And once again, Benazili getting very, very close to the Lamborghini. He can't really use that extra momentum through turn 10, not unless someone makes a catastrophic mistake, which is far easier said than done. It's very easily done, I should say. Benazili again getting very deep into 12. As he said, he's got a great, ringside seat for this battle ahead of him between the Audi and the Lambo. Zenny going for a wide exit. There's two completely valid ways of doing that, Con. You either stay hugging the apex or you try and get a wider exit. Kind of really depends on the setup of the car. And again, look at the lightning exit that the Lamborghini has. That is almost certainly going to keep the Audi behind. I think that's Rilo we're catching up to on these cars directly ahead of this pack. Looks like a black Lambo to me. So, that's Rilo's day. Going to get slightly worse. Oh, Zenny! Wow, that's...
Oh my goodness, that's a lot of saves in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. You just about cashed it for one, but you've got no time to get the car settled for two. So if you're unsettled in one, you're almost certainly going to be sideways in two, as Zenny very kindly demonstrated for us. But managed to keep it on the road. See how they do this again. And yeah, there goes Benazili again, sliding sideways into turn 5. Now this could be interesting. Let's see how they handle going around Rilo. Rilo is obviously a very seasoned racer. He'll know how to get out of the way of people under blue flag. He'll know how to kind of mind his own business, etc., etc. Like we said before, he's a champion in his own right, so he knows what he's doing. Staying over the right hand side, but there's not really anywhere for him to go. I would imagine what he's going to do is he's going to go exceedingly wide through turn 10. Yeah, there he goes. But that caught.
No, wait.
No, that was Rilo doing exactly what I thought he'd do.
I thought you were watching the third car in the train. I was like, oh.
No. No, that was Rilo doing exactly what I thought he'd do, just going very wide off the exit at turn 10 and allowing these guys through. Of course, Zenny is slightly further back. It might have caught darking out ever so slightly. Oh, hello. Suomi is getting back onto Heidi's case. So that battle continues. Oh, and Heidi's now getting into the 41s.
Oh, look at that. Heidi's slightly faster than Jadir last lap. Oh, never mind. The lap before.
There was the lap before, yeah.
This time he's lost 6 tenths. And it's actually lost 4 tenths to Suomi, so... Yeah, Suomi now just at the 1 second gap to the Heidi.
Yeah. So Suomi's right in there, keeping the Lambo really large and looming in the mirrors of the Z4.
Possibly close battle for 8th. Scott and Speedman are remaining close after Scott managed to get that move done on the Acura.
No!
And yeah, that is how close they are.
Yes, the Z4 had a terrible run then through 1 and 2. The Acura having a damn good run through those very corners. No, not the camera's aiming for. That one will do. So now Speed Demon should get a bit of slipstream. The straight's not really long enough to use a slipstream down into that corner. You either have to hope that someone makes a mistake. Oh, wow, again, that's another loose tail, it seems, on that Z4, as we saw Scott just really kick the tail out to rotate the car through 5. Now over the crest, coming through 6 and 7. So you then head towards Samsung turn, or turn 8, well, commonly referred to it as. Over the crest, over to the right-hand side of the track to get the line flat out through 9. Then this really awkward over the crest on the brakes and turning all at the same time to come through turn 10. We haven't seen anybody fly off the road by accident. So obviously Rilo jump out of the way of those that were chasing him. And Speed Demon then he's working very hard to try and get past the Z4, but Scott doing a great job keeping him behind.
Indeed. Did see a question in the chat about liveries. Marvin did not answer it, but just to point out all these liveries you are seeing. A lot of them very beautiful, I must say, but they are all in-game liveries that they have decided to choose from. Obviously, it would be great if you could have custom liveries, but of course, if you select a custom livery on this game for yourself, then no one else can see it as it stands. So for us as broadcasters as well, to be able to see people's liveries, they need to use it in game ones. But I think we have a lovely, colourful grid regardless. Of course, the drivers have all chosen which of the cars to drive as well. So interesting. When I looked at all the cars yesterday, when I was sort of getting a little bit of info on each of the drivers. I was like, wow, so many Lambos. This is amazing. But I was surprised for last season that there was so few Audis. But what I heard is that the calendar for the 10 race calendar for season 11 doesn't quite suit the Audi as much as the season 10 calendar did, and that's apparently the reason why there's very few Audis compared to last season. And Lamborghini and Lamborghini seems to be the preferred one, and then a lot of Z4s, quite a few Mercedes.
What a shame! What a shame, Fizz.
Well, not quite.
Oh, Suomi's getting closer to Heidi. That's only half a second between the two now as they come around turn 13. And the Audi is really keeping the pressure on. I think Heidi may have made a couple of very small mistakes in the last few laps. 42.3, which is still blindingly quick. There's a few more back markers ahead of them. Jardier now is pretty much outside. Look how early Heidi committed to the defensive line. I mean, they're nowhere near the finish line. And he is jumping right into the middle.
I think he's going to get a dive bomb from back there, but you never know.
But it just goes to show that Heidi really showing he's not confident that Suomi wouldn't attempt to move. I mean, I don't know, unless Suomi's got the greatest brakes in the world, that he was going to try and move from that far back. Now coming through 4 over the crest onto the short straight then. Suomi a little wide coming out of the exit. Nothing too bad over the crest on the brakes then. Down to second. Roaring. I can't hear the Lambo. All I can hear is Z4 from here.
Yeah, Z4 is really loud.
It is deafening. It's a great noise, so is the Lambo. But it's just all you can hear is the
Lambo driver must think he's actually driving a Z4.
Oh, this battle's close. Oh, it's Benizili and Dalking. That battle's been. They've actually dropped Zenny by nearly a couple of seconds, but the Audi right with Dalking then. I mean, let's be fair, Dalking's still having an absolutely stunning start to this particular season in Tier 1. It's just started slightly better than this early on. He's going for he thought about an inside move coming through 10. It's very, very risky to try an inside move there unless you know that your opponent is very much committed to flying off the road. So Benizili opting for the safer move then. Oh, the Lambo a little slow coming through 12. So all of these little mistakes from Dalking is just keeping Benizili in check. But here is where the Lambo really comes alive, because my God, can that thing take off? As Dalking has proven many, many times now, over the crest. And that's where you can see the moderating of the throttle needed, coming over the crest, hugging the apex, so you don't fly off the road. And there you go. And even in the slipstream, Benizili's got no answer to Dalking on that section.
Wait a minute. What has happened to the Heidi?
Oh, has he pitted?
Heidi is gone.
He's disconnected.
Oh, no!
We've lost to Heidi from second. We're down to 25.
Oh my God! I remember he had a disconnection issue at the race last season as well, at the start of a race, which proved to be costly. Yeah, it might have been.
I remember we were trying our best. Was that the race that he reconnected 3 times and died 3 times in very short
in the qualifying session, I think.
That was in the dark. I believe that was Fuji. As a Speed Demon has had his pit.
Man. And he's had the worst possible start of the season then. The Heidi was been so good, was running second place. And that's going to drop him a lot of points. Sad face indeed for the Heidi.
A great shame for the Z4 fans, but this battle rages on. That, of course, leaves Suomi to chase after Jardier, and that gap's dropped, I'm pretty certain. It's 3.5 seconds. It was double that, I'm sure. So I wonder if Jardier's had some trouble in traffic somewhere. Actually, Jardier is catching up to traffic, I think. Oh no, he's just gone past traffic. That's probably why he's lost time. So Benizili is absolutely still exceedingly close to Dalking. He knows what flavour chewing gum Dalking is using at the moment.
He can taste it, yeah. Benizili, but remember, he's a new driver in the league.
He's having a great
debut. He's clearly now in the hunt for a podium with the Heidi's disconnection.
Wow, Dalking, there's not much more defensive you could have gone there without going through the pit wall.
I think he's just trying to break the slipstream effect just for a couple of seconds, and Benizili couldn't be bothered really following him at that particular occasion.
I mean, Scott brings his car in from 7th position. So the remaining F48 Z4 then continue. I think we still have another couple of
interesting. with the Speed Demon, of course, who pitted a couple of laps ago. He was right with Scott just before. Let's see who's had a better run through the pit lane. Will Scott emerge ahead of Speed Demon, or will Speed Demon get the jump on the Z4 driver?
I was trying to find him.
Coming onto the straight now.
Where's Scott?
He's just ahead of Alexis as well, which is interesting. Scott's coming down the pit lane, I think.
Yeah,
let's see.
That's gonna
I think Speed Demon might have done it.
He has. There's the Z4 on the left.
Scott, he's lost a lot of position. He's had a really slow start. I wonder if he's done any tire changing or what, but either way, he's lost a lot of time to Speed Demon. And Alexis has gone past. Villalobos has gone past as well, and Scott is about 6 seconds off Speed Demon.
That was a long stop then, but on he goes nonetheless. We're over halfway in this race now on lap 21. And these two Z4s, Alexis and Villalobos, chasing after Speed Demon in the Acura for 11th place. Scott is obviously freshly pitted right behind. There is another debutant, Rodders, in the Mercedes with Van Orman. Oh no, that is Scott! He's overcooked that into turn 5. He could have taken tyres and
Jadier seems a bit. I've heard from Marvin in the chat that Jadier has 11 front aero damage.
Oh,
apparently he had some kind of tangle with the back marker that spun.
I was going to say, yeah, that would explain where the lead went then. He wasn't sat still very long, so it was a very quick repair, or he's opted not to have it repaired.
Either way, that's interesting. That could be costly either way. Suomi, of course, he was about 5, 6, 7 seconds off of Jadier.
Now leads.
And now he's in the lead, yeah.
Dakuza is in, along with T-Mac. A few drivers we haven't looked at for a while. Wow, Ben was in there for a while. Ben Azili. He's got Zenny literally very short succession behind. Shooter now up to 5th position, as he hasn't pitted yet. Zenny jumps out ahead, just ahead of Clewen. There's Dakuza.
A lot of people pitting now in the middle part of the race. Past the middle part of the race.
Oh, wow!
Villalobos.
Surprise!
Teammates, I believe, looking from liveries, so possibly some team orders. I mean, there's a light flashing. Oh my goodness, he's let him back through.
Yeah, I don't think that
I don't think that's team order.
No, I don't think Alexis was best pleased about that, but it looked like just and flashback again. But I don't know if Villalobos' front light work. So that may have actually been
the opposite of team orders.
Very much so, yeah. There may be a bit of a debrief going on between these two Z4s post-race that we won't be privy to. That was a bit odd. I mean, it looked like Villalobos just overshot the braking point and just had to jump to the inside of turn 1. I don't know why Alexis would be annoyed at that. There was no impact unless Alexis felt he had to jump out of the way. Or they may not actually be teammates. They may just have selected the same livery. So you might have that detail to hand.
I will quickly check that out.
There is Scott on the back of
Team
Van
Racing Italia esports team. That's Villalobos anyway.
And
he has indeed got an Alexis with him. Yes, so they are teammates.
Oh, so they are teammates. Oh dear. So here's technically a pair of battles, although they're relatively close together. Scott, after his recent spin on the back of the Lambo of Van Orman, with Dakuza and Rodders directly ahead. Wow, Scott looks like he's really just crawling all over the back of Van Orman. It would seem that any moment now he's going to fly past. A bit of lag there from Van Orman. Looked like he was going to sail off into the wall. Ooh, now Scott had to get out of that. He was looking for a much quicker line, but there was a Lamborghini in the way. So, and whether you definitely don't want to attempt as an outside around 14, that will go very horribly wrong for the person on the outside. And just look, the slipstream's actually doing him nothing. The Algarve is actually getting away from the Z4 along that stretch. So, slipstream is just completely useless along that section. We haven't really seen anybody take advantage of it. So coming through turn 3 and turn 5 is going to be the best opportunity then for Scott to try and outbrake the Lamborghini. Here we go again. Let's go for that one. Is he going to dive on the inside? And again, the Lambo just has the legs on the Z4 to be able to get enough of a gap to prevent Scott doing a clean move on the inside.
Yeah, indeed. Just a breaking story from the chat, which is about the Heidi. So it wasn't actually a disconnection for the Heidi. He did get disqualified because of a 180 spin in the pit lane. Apparently he touched the grass on the braking for the pit entry, and did a spin, and the game decided to disqualify him. So it was actually his mistake rather than a disconnection. Still, of course, a big shame when he was running in second place. But you know, it's.
The Heidi, we did well. Unless you streamed it yourself, we'd have never have known. You should have gone with the disconnection story.
What is this? Yeah.
That's...
yeah, but of course that just shows how one tiny mistake can throw away, a really good race. And I feel for you, Heidi. I have had my fair share. Well, not my fair share. I've had one very annoying disqualification in my time as well. I lost a Formula Renault 3.5 championship because of a disconnection. So.
Would that have been the first thing I got? Would that be the Formula Renault 3.5 league I commented?
Indeed be. I got disqualified at Catalonia from doing something stupid. I reversed into the path of someone after I spun it. And hadn't I done that, had I got the points for that race, I would have won the championship. So that could have been my first and so far only AOR championship. Anyway.
The benefit of hindsight.
Sad times. Just make sure Daddy knows that I really feel for him. Especially if it ends up costing a championship, but we have no way of knowing that until in 9 weeks from now. Let's see. This is a great battle here, though. Scott trying to get past the Lemon Lambo of Mr. Van Ommen, putting up a good defense, though.
And you see that he had to break them because that's brave! Can he get it to stick on the double right-hander coming through 7 and 8? Yes, he can!
What a move! That's opportunistic. It's not a corner I expected a move to happen like that.
You've got to be very confident on the grip of your car to do a move there. Now we're going to have the double right-hander off turn 10. I'm not sure Van Ommen's really going to have an answer, but Scott needs to get some distance. We've seen how much pace that Lambo's got, particularly along the straight. So Scott's not really got anywhere that he can build up any distance. So surely then the advantage will swing back to Van Ommen as they come through turn 13 now. Z4 gets on the gas. And there's a bit of a tail moment there for Scott. He has had a really good drive out of 13. This is where he's wanted to use that extra pace but just didn't have the opportunity to do so because Van Ommen's always been in the way. And look at that!
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, Van Ommen had to be very careful how he went through 14. He really got off the gas, whereas the Z4 would have been almost flat, especially if he has taken fresh tyres. There he is turning left into a right-hander again. Saw him do that a few laps ago. On the back of the M6, that is Dakuza directly ahead of him. So this battle is not done yet.
Certainly not. That is Scott at least making Heidi a little bit more happy because he is Heidi's teammate for this season. So he's gained 1 point as it stands. The difference between 15th and 14th place. So the top 20 positions get points scored. Of course, when you get into the top 10, the difference between each position gets a little bit more severe. 50 points for a win, down to 1 point for 20th place. That's really fighting 4 points.
This is really disorientating the way that bumper camera watches then. So yeah, that's Dakuza that he is chasing then. Let's have a look at somebody else while that battle carries on. Cleowen is on the back of Zenny. This is a battle for 7th. The Lambo could put in the pressure on the Mercedes. So we'll see if he's able to do anything through the final turn. Cleowen very wide. You'll have to really be careful how he comes through the final turn. The Mercedes much tighter to the apex there, as you saw. Who's that ahead? That is Benazili in the Audi further ahead. So we just saw at the top of the shot. Suomi continues to lead. He has not brought that car in yet and doesn't have to until the penultimate lap. So we will see then how long he goes on for. I'm surprised he's got decent tyre life left in there. Seems to. 42.0, so pretty decent lap times coming out. Jardier getting back into the 141s again. 141.5. Wow. He's still got a decent amount of fuel, so he's really pressing hard. So either he did get that front damage repaired, or he's just really pressing on and getting on with it. Third at the moment is Marley in the Rainbow Lambo, with Dowking back up into second. So it's actually the white and pink Lambos 1 and 2 at the moment. They're separated by around about 10 seconds.
Yeah, both of course still needing to pit. So
Shooter.
It'll be very interesting to see where they come out. Shooter as well. Yet to pit. He's 38 seconds off the lead at the moment. So you'd think he'd drop quite far down, but he could still find himself in the point positions.
Yeah, could well
running nicely and steadily. in 5th place at the moment. But then Ziggler as well. He's of course has pitted. So Jardir in 4th, the lead car that has been through the pits, and Benny Seeley in 2nd out of those.
I was going to say, yeah, he's in a net 2nd, but it really depends on what the pit lane loss is. I confess I haven't actually been paying attention.
He was, of course, really close with Dalking, so whenever Dalking decides to do his pit stop is when we need to see how that's going to pan out with Benny Seeley, and Zenvo as well was quite close to them.
Yeah, and Zenny is, at the moment, far more preoccupied with Cleo and behind him. So that battle for 6 rages on. Let's have a look at where everyone else is. There is Speed Demon, when the camera catches up to him. In the Acura, representing the mark very, very well. I think in a straight line, the Acura is actually pretty handy, but it's how well it deals with corners, of which there are quite a lot of them in this particular circuit. Villalobos, he had that. He was involved in that big turn 1, lap 1 scuffle. Adalexis was who he was fighting with a few laps ago, and Adalexis is from all the way back. Fellow debutant for this tier is Rodders in the Mercedes, minding his own business there. In 12th there is Scott. He's actually gotten to the front of that particular pack. He's still got Van Olmen though in very, very short.
Followed him, so is that
that's Takuza lost both positions, yeah. He has, but yeah, Van Olmen really is. He's not. Oh, Scott! That was committed. That was not the quickest way of doing turn 5, but yet again, so many people getting their cars out of shape. And like I said before, you'll come over a crest, you hit the brakes, and you're trying to turn in, all going downhill. So I'm not surprised the cars struggle a little bit. Wow, Van Olmen is really, really keeping the pressure on. T-Mac in 16th position in his black Lamborghini is ahead of an interesting train of cars. There is Lusty. They're not close enough to battle, but they are in fairly short succession. I'm seeing a lot of penalties on the board as well, I just realised. Lusty is there in 17th with the Ace in the next Lambo in 18th position with 2 Desert Pack in the Merc. 19 with the Soldier Netta of Murphy in 20th. JK, the next Audi down the road, 21st with the Kamisuki. Next Lambo 22nd. There is Beauregard in the golf-coloured Merc. Coming through turn 8. 23rd, there is Tragic Bronson, 24. Very much on his own. And Relo is still going in 25th.
I thought we were going to quit if Relo didn't win the race. That might be a problem.
Oh well, bye!
See you guys.
Yeah. So what have we got? 7 laps to do. Suomi continues to lead. And let's see if he's going to come in. Nope, doesn't seem at all interested in that at the moment. Still doing 42 zeros. So
I think he's enjoying his clean air up in front.
Yeah, quite right. And both actually the front runners in 42 zeros last time around. 41.9 from Suomi, so he's got a lot of pace out there to use. And it looks like Dalking's got a back marker in between himself and his teammate. So Dalking 42 completely flat to the 1,000. So that's consistent. Marley then, let's see if he comes in. No, he's well past the Venenator there. There is Jardier in the ever-charging Lemon Lambo. 43.2 for Marvin, 41.7 for Jardier. So once again, getting the very, very quick laps in, trying to close that gap down. I don't think he has to push that hard, considering all 3 of the cars ahead of him have got to pit yet, but you just never know. If he's already had trouble with back markers, he may be kind of just pushing on to make sure if he does have trouble with back markers again, then it's not going to cost him the potential win.
Indeed. Let's see. As we've seen if Marley will put up a challenge when Jodder comes up to him, or if I was Marley, I might have just stick my car into the pit lane to not have to deal with the fast Lamborghini behind. But we shall wait and see. Cleon, of course, Marley's teammate, he was the one he was quite close to, so you'd expect Marley to come out around the sort of 8th position. And Cleon is very close behind Zenvo.
Yeah, he's been chasing that Merc for a while. Very similar lap times, not even half a tenth between the pair of them last time around, so that gap has just pretty much maintained itself. Villalobos is getting close to the Acura. That's battle for 9th. And hang on. Oh no, Villalobos was the leader. Of course, he's the dented one. That damage has been repaired because he's still setting personal best. Also, the windscreen is repaired, so I would imagine that much front damage would have done the windscreen in. So there's There maybe is a bit of a clue that the damage is actually repaired as far as the car is concerned. We'll see if Speed Demon fights Villalobos. He's perfectly entitled to do so, as this is his 4th position. And Marvin is in, so you called that one perfectly there, Fizz, as Marvin has indeed brought the Rainbow Lambo in. Let's see where he reappears.
Yeah, so Marley, can he hit his marks then for the pit lane?
Wow, that's a long way down.
Nailed that. Yeah, long way down the pits. So
sat there for a while though.
So he's dropped position to Shooter, who's yet to pit. Benny Seeley will be coming past there. Yeah. And then it is interesting. There is Zenvo and Clown as well. His teammate has gone through, as Molly just is on the exit there. So he's got a few seconds to catch if he wants to get
Shooter's in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I saw a stationary dot. That Shooter's lost 3 positions. He's had trouble on coming through 1 and 2 somewhere. So yeah, he's overcooked that. That's a shame because he was right up there in 4th. Considering he thought he was going to be lapped. That's a pretty decent performance then by the lead M6. But,
absolutely. Is the car off?
That's Relo.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
It's tragic, bro.
See, I fell for it this time.
Another tragic corner by Mr. Brooks.
Van Orman still chases Scott. That Lambo still behind the Z4. There's a bit of a gap forming there as Suomi has brought his car in.
Ooh, this is interesting.
No, he's sticking to the old 5-lap rule because he's pitting on lap 30, which would have been the last opportunity, I think. Yes, it would have technically been the last opportunity by the previous rule set to bring his car in.
Let's see then, where is Jadir coming?
He's just about to pass him, and Suomi's
that's
an easy. Wow, that's a long one for Suomi.
Yeah, Jadir's kept his speed up then, and Suomi, very long stop here.
Oh dear,
is he filling some fuel or adding some tires or?
Oh dear, he's got a full tank.
Is it intentional? Oh, he's added all the fuel. That can't be what he wanted.
You don't need 100 litres!
It's only 5 laps to go, mate!
It's not an endurance race! Oh god, he's still there.
More
fuel going in there!
Or something. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't actually realise...
He's going to have such a heavy car as well for the last few laps here. If he comes out just in front of someone, he's going to be under pressure. And look at all these cars coming streaming past Suomi's going to drop so far down!
Suomi!
This is Villalobos! Was that a move going on?
Yes.
Villalobos and Speed Demon swapping around.
I looked away at the wrong moment. Oh, there's Relo again.
No, it's Tragic Bronson, I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I believe so.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Relo's actually overtaken someone.
Yeah.
Oh, Shooter! Shooter that's just coming out. So from from his battles right up there in 4th, he now comes out. He's just behind 88 in 18th position.
Still on the point at least.
Speed Demon hanging on to the back of that Z4. He's just lost that 7th position too. There's still some battling to do. Dalking currently leads the way in the pink and white Lambo, but yeah, Suomi is down in 10th, and yeah, he's got a lot of cars, and he's got 100. He took on like 100 odd litres and left him with 118 in the tank. Man. Oh, that thing is going to be like trying to steer a house. Yeah, I don't think you got your maths quite right.
Don't worry, just made a mistake on selecting the right.
It's so easy to do, it really is.
Easy to do. It's a little bit clumsy sometimes.
Unless he's going to bring a jet engine out, because he'd need quite a few litres for that.
Well, yeah, could be the case. I mean, that's if he wants to get back to the to challenge Jadir, I think he needs a jet engine at this point. It's down in 10th place, and Rodder's just behind us. Another car is getting. That might be Relo because it's a full black.
It is
Lamborghini.
Well spotted. Lusty and T-Mac are in a battle. That's between the M6 and the black and red Lambo. That's for 15th place. 88 is looming just behind this one. We actually have quite a few battles forming, and here's the lead one, or lead battle, so to speak, as in the both battle closest to the lead. I'll get the correct sentences out in a minute. Of Cleowen on the back of Zenny. This is a battle from now for 4th. Oh wow, that was Cleowen very deep.
Cleowen with a Dalking style.
Yep. Who still leads? Dalking has not.
Leads. I think looking at the gaps here. Okay, 13 seconds to Jadir. I think Jadir has got this in the bag if he keeps it up and doesn't make a mistake. But 36 seconds to Benny Seeley. I think Dalking has a really good chance of staying in 2nd place. when he pits there.
Could be. Could well be. Speed Demon is staying with Villalobos then. That battle for fourth. Clearing on the back of Zenny for fourth position. Actually, Villalobos, that is Marley directly ahead. So, yeah, that's actually a three-way battle forming now. With the Rainbow Lambo, the Dented Z4 and the Akira. So that battle is going to be to the flag, I would imagine, as we are on lap 32, or they are on lap 32. Our leader, King, has started lap 33, but he will have to come in pretty soon. Unless he hasn't been in, he wasn't part of the... No, he wasn't... No, he couldn't have been part of the...
Let's hope, for King's sake, that it's not a team mistake about the fuel load, and more driving mistake and show me that he's not going to do the same thing here. Assuming they're communicating as well, potentially, and in which case I'm pretty sure Xiaomi will
have a few words to say.
To not do that as well.
Yeah. Well, there is Xiaomi in 10th then, with Rodos right on his tail. Yeah, the Mercedes is a big thing, but even that's going to be lighter than a fully fueled Lambo. Because I was thinking GTE terms, because you know these GT3s never take on that much fuel, or indeed not any fuel. So I was thinking GTE terms of they only have 100 litres, well that thing took on about 120, so that surprised me slightly.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure every driver's been through the pits at this point apart from King, so I don't think we're looking at any issues with that, as long as King does so his...
yeah, as long as he actually does come into
serve his mandatory pistol.
He's got another couple of seconds.
We've got, of course, a couple of penalties hanging around, so that could be...
Well, quite a few people look up. Let's have a quick look through. So King with 2.
Zenny with 32 seconds. I'm pretty sure the 31 will get removed.
Yeah, because that one happened right at the beginning.
2 seconds, that's going to be costly. He's just ahead of Clevin and Marley. 2 seconds for Zenmo.
Well, that will cost him the position to clear.
Oh, no, wait! Marley's dropped away?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, Marley's made a mistake.
Oh, no, he wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He was right ahead of that battle with Zenny and Clearin. He's now trying to fight off. Oh, that's close. The Akira of Speed Demon's got a good view of that, and you can see Villalobos tried to get on the inside of the Lambo. The Lambo wasn't having any of that as King has begun the penultimate lap of this race. Again, the Z4 trying to hang on to the apex for a little bit longer, now getting into the slipstream of the Lamborghini and just gaining absolutely nothing from it once again. Down the hill there.
Down. Oh, it's a very late braking, and it's got a bit wide as a result. Big save.
Yeah, big save, and that's going to, of course, bring Speed Demon in. The Akira's right there, ready to pick up on any major mistake that happens.
Nice to see the Akira doing well.
Yes.
Sort of justify the choice of a car that we haven't seen in the leagues at all, at least in the top PC tier, until this season.
Now, surely then King he's either going to come in, or he's he's staying to the inside.
Either pits or gets disqualified,
and he comes.
There he goes.
So, yeah, he hadn't actually forgotten to come in, as I did wonder. Either he'd forgotten to come in or I had forgotten he'd already been in. None of the above, thankfully. So here comes then Lemon Lambo of Jardier to start the final lap in the lead. And he's going to have a pretty comfortable lead once King gets to stop. There he is.
And it's not filling fuel, which is good for him.
And away he goes into where is he going to reappear? Where's Ben? He's coming around turn 13. Will King come out ahead of the Audi? He ought to. There's still quite a distance between them.
Well, the pit lane feels so slow when you're driving down it.
It is, yeah, but there he goes. He's now off the pit lane limiter quite comfortably ahead of Benazili. Of course, he does have... What was King's penalty again? 2 seconds. So as long as he remains that, and he's got 6.5 in hand, so that should be, unless he flies off the road, a fairly comfortable podium for him. But still battles up and down the field. Kluwen is still hanging on to the back of Zenny. That is for 4th. Villalobos on the back of Marley. That is for 6th. Speed Demons form off the back of that. Suomi has lost that 10th position to Rodders, and there's Scott right with him, so he could lose another. T-Mac is chasing ADAs for 16th, and JK is chasing Murphy and 2 Desert Pack for 19th.
Chasing his first points. That is the final point position right in front of him. Jardier though.
Once
reigning
again.
champion, reigning 2-time champion. He is on for another fantastic start. to the new season. I'm sure he'll be jumping in the post-race interviews as he usually does. Well, he'd be happy, I think, even if he finished last. But
yeah, he is usually pretty energetic when we interview Jardier. But here he comes then, your winner here in Algarve to open the scoring for season 11. He's flashing the lights, giving it a wiggle. Why the devil not? It is the Lemon Lambo of Jardier.
Woo! Who would have thought we'd say that? Lemon Lambo winning the race. And then Dalking then in the pink, black and white Lambo. Coming around at the final corner. Fantastic debut for him. Moving over from the Xbox side. The Tier 2 champion on Xbox last season. Straight into PC Tier 1 and getting second place, a podium on his debut. Fantastic stuff. And speaking of debuts, Benny Sealy, another debutant, the Hungarian, taking home third place. And then we've got Zenvo coming home, holding off Cleveland. But he will lose that position, of course, with a 2-second penalty. And we'll
30 seconds
way further down. Yeah, we think it'll only be a 2. So we think Zenvo will stay in 5th, even though the results now will drop him further down as Marley comes home in a 6th place. Villalobos stays behind him in 7th.
Kapow.
Oh, Speedyman in what will be 8th. Actually, he's dropped behind Alexis. Alexis jumped up to, currently it is 7th place. Rodgers in 9th. Jerome has gone up to 10th. Scott crossing line in 11th. And then
Zenny was already over the
Zenny.
line, so we're
Zenny,
just waiting. So Dakuza, Lusty, lots of people we haven't looked at for a while. And Van Orman.
ADA is getting 15th.
Yep, T-Mac. I try and click on Van Orman, but his name keeps moving.
Yes.
Murphy in the Janetta.
Van Orman actually drops out of the points for the time being, but both remember that both Van Orman and, of course, Zenvo had a 30-second time penalty that usually gets removed on, by applying to the stewards, because that's quite excessive, regardless of what they did. So we'll have to get the reviewed results further down the line. But either way, here is the results as they stand. Jardier, Dalking, Benazili on the podium. Great move up to T1 as well for Cleveland and Mali, the teammates who finished top 2 of Tier 2 last season. And of course, we already went through the rest. So what a start of the season. A lot of battles. But the familiar sight in first place.
What a surprise, Jardier has jumped straight into the ready for interview box. Let us have a word. Mr. Honzik.
Hello!
Once again, we have the pleasure of talking to you. I've actually lost count how many wins in a row this is for you.
I don't think much. I think like 2nd maybe.
I don't know how many you have in a row, but I know that you have 11 wins in 21 races.
Oh, yes!
Looked like you had that all in hand, but you did look like you were really pushing hard, particularly after the pit stop. So how was it for you?
Well, the start of the race was great. I was like kind of like slowly getting confident with the car and everything, and I was pulling away. And when the guy behind me got a slowdown penalty, I was like, okay, I can pull away. And I was pulling away. And I don't know if you have seen it, but like in the middle of the race, there was a car in front of me who spun and crashed me. I got
We didn't
11.
hear about it.
Yeah, we heard, but we didn't see
the
it.
chat.
Yeah, he was like spinning to one side and then he spun to other side. I almost braked and we touched it and I got 11 damage on the car. And I just had to pit because I was losing 1.5 seconds per lap. So I just pitted right away. And I probably borrowed pit crew from Fissy because my pit stop was like 2.5 seconds to repair the car.
Oh,
so thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
I'm doing the Lambo, so I have to help you out a bit.
Thank you. And then I was just pushing after a pit stop. Suddenly everything worked, and I was doing 41.6, 41.7 lap times, and everything worked in the end. So yeah, I'm absolutely happy. Round 1, season 11. I'm absolutely happy. Only shame my teammates had some problems, issues in qualifying, and yeah, the Heidi disconnected as well. So I really don't know what happened there.
A long way of the season to go, so we look forward to great things in season 11. So thank you very much, Jardier. Let us see
Thank you so much.
Let us see who else wants to talk to us. Benazili, Dalking, and Zenny all in the box. Let's grab them over. And here they all are. Firstly, let's have a chat with T1 regular Zenny. Hello to you, sir.
Hello.
you had a lot of defending to do there.
I don't know, I was just struggling in the start, man. I don't know, my car didn't feel like the same as what I'd practiced with. It didn't feel right, and it was just a case of like just trying to defend, and I just got to the point I was like, I'm just slow myself down, so I'll let the Audi driver by and just tried to hang on the back of him. And that was it, and then I ended up getting a 30-second penalty for someone who spun and had to go like off the track to avoid hitting him.
We thought that would be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you put that in the suit.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be fine. But yeah, I think I did see you had a 2-second penalty as well, so I'm pretty sure you're going to drop that to...
Yeah, I think I'll finish 5th in the end or something.
Yeah.
He's-
A solid start of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mercedes, I don't think it was the fastest car here. Struggled a bit out with like the acceleration out of the slow turns, but I think 5th place is a good way to start the season. Much better start than last season. I finished 10th last season at the start, so yeah, this is a much better start.
Well, on your way to a good result. Good on you, Zenny. We look forward to the next one. And we have 2 debutantes to talk about. Firstly, Benazili, welcome to you.
Hello, and welcome for everyone.
Well, what a way to make your name in Tier 1. That was very impressive. How was that race for you?
I started very slow and lost 2 or 3 position maybe. Before the first corner I got sandwiched, so I had to turn very careful to not hit anyone. And I worried about a bit the accelerations in the couple of first lap, because I think the Audi was the slowest on the acceleration and the straight, and in the sandwich of the Lambos it's really hard
Oh, wow.
to defend the positions. And after that I think about I will pit early, but I could pass the Mercedes. Then I went my own speed, and after that I pitted in the lap 25 maybe, because I don't want to stuck behind the lapped cars, and pitted early, and I had to fuel like 15 liters, because 6-second stop is can't make shorter, so I fueled at 15 liters. Then I came back, and I don't know what happened to Suomi, but I don't know what happened with ducking to the box too, because I was 1 second behind him, and after the box he was like 6 seconds ahead for me. But it was a really good race. I didn't expect for that, and I'm really happy for these positions. Before the race I said I would be really happy when I finish in the top 10. So
Wow.
really good.
Yeah, fantastic debut, and welcome to the league. What a way to start for you.
Thanks.
And of course, talking of impressive debutantes, we have got Dalking with us. Well. That's a fabulous way to start your day.
Yeah, that was good for me and all. Bloody hell.
So, I mean, you kind of looked like you were really pushing a bit too hard early on. We saw you really having I mean, that tail looked like it was exceedingly loose. It looked like it was about to fall off.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I think I just got overexcited. I was overdriving the car, and it would just the tyres overheated, and that was it. I just started dropping back. But yeah, hopefully for the next race, I can cure that nerves a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it did look like you kind of settled down a bit. Was it just a case of, settle the nerves down and focus, or did all the cards just kind of fall into place?
Yeah, that's it. I started to calm down in like the middle stint, and then I started like getting Suomi back a little bit, and then I don't know what happened to him. He just fell off into hiding, gifted me second. So apart from that, it was a good race.
What a shame, eh?
Yeah, how fast is Jardio? Damn, that kid's got something.
Yeah, absolutely. we did mention about jet engines early on, so
it feels like it when you're behind him.
Yeah. Great stuff. Welcome to the league, and what a fantastic way to open the score sheet for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, no one else has made himself available for interview, so I think we shall wrap this up then, Lord Fizzy.
Yes, let's do it. Great start of the season. We've got another 9 races to look forward to in the coming weeks, so should be GT3 racing here on the Apex Online Racing channel for the next 9 weeks, because there are no break weeks as far as I know in this calendar. Actually, I have prepared a little graphics to have a quick peek at all the tracks that we're going to run through this season. So we've been through Algarve now. Next week we will be heading towards a classic Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, and then it'll be interesting. Round 3 at Nürburgring combined, including the Nordschleife.
Wow.
With of course, there is 2 of the races this season, round 3 and round 8, like last season, which will not have a qualifying session. The grid will be determined by a reverse championship standings, and one of them is that race at Nürburgring Nordschleife. So, gonna be a lot of overtaking having to happen at the track that the drivers will have to focus mainly on just not dying. So that's one to look out for in 2 weeks, and then you can see all the rest of the tracks. We will of course touch more on them as we get there, but it's going to be a nice long season all the way until 12th of December, a couple of months there of GT3 action in season 11. So I hope that everyone who has joined us today has had a good time. Hope you'll enjoy what you saw. Hope all the drivers had a good time as well. Well, of course a few unfortunate ones, but hopefully they can bounce back next week. And yeah, we will be back. Thank you as always, King-Kodiak, for joining me in the box.
Always my pleasure. Indeed, we will be back next week for more AOR action. Thank you very much, and good night.